Hi, I'm John Hawthorne for Delaware Valley Outdoors, and I am privileged to have with me one of the Elite Series' greatest anglers, Denny Brauer. Denny, welcome to Pennsylvania. It's great to see you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just wanted to get you some thoughts from you, so hopefully just take a few minutes of your time. I'd like to kind of ask you what's been new on the tournament scene lately.
Well, we got some new product out. We got the new flipping and pitching reel that I just came out with Arden Reels, and
Cool.
got a new line of rods for the American Rodsmiths. So I've been busy in the off season designing this product, getting it ready for the start of the season. And we're tickled to death with the way things came out and the way they're flying off the shelf. So I think the consumers liking them real good.
That's good. How would you describe it? Is it graphite? Is it Lamiglass? Is it, how would you?
No, the rod's high modulus graphite. Actually, we've got two different grades. We got a medium-priced rod. I've got 8 different actions to start with.
Wow.
And in the Wrecking Stick series, it's about $160 price range.
Okay.
And it's actually a little different components. We've got some ground-up metal that's actually turned into paint that goes about 1/3 of the way up the rod to give it even more strength.
Wow.
Which is just phenomenal, the strength it gives the rod.
Is that a pretty new technology?
That's new technology. And then in the upper end rod, the H3 titaniums, they've actually got the strips of high-grade titaniums that run part way up the rod.
Wow.
And these are rods that you can take a 10-pound anchor and lift it off the ground with. And for graphite rods, that's unheard of. So
Right.
and then we got it into the golfing industry and got
Really?
wind golf grips to build our handles for us.
How about
So now
that?
we've got soft, super sensitive handles that in wet weather or cold weather you can really grip the rods well. So
impressive.
we think we hit a home run with this whole deal.
That's great. And the reels as well? Are they brand new this
The
year?
reel is totally different concept. It has no level line. It's got a little ceramic guide that the line shoots off, narrow spool, so that you don't have to waste a bunch of line, because when you're flipping and pitching, you certainly don't need a whole lot of line.
Right.
And then it has no drag. It's got no star drag at all. It's actually got a Permalock drag system of 22.5 pounds, so that you get a better hook set and you can get the fish out of the heavy cover a little easier.
Now, certainly you're very well known for your flipping and pitching. Would you say this is about the best that you've used?
Without a doubt, this equipment is going to raise the level of my success.
How about that? Well, that's
And I
great.
think it will for anybody.
Well, that's terrific. I wish you a lot of luck with it.
I appreciate that.
I'd like to ask you, certainly we've just had the Classic pass over the last weekend. Feelings on another winter Classic. This is now, I guess, the 3rd year that they've had the Classic in February?
It is, and, I guess I have mixed emotions. I fished the 07 Classic on Lay Lake, and I fished it this year on Lay Lake. And in 07, I finished 48th, I think, and this year I finished tied for last at 50th. So obviously, from a success standpoint, it couldn't be any worse. And I like Lay Lake. I love the way it fishes. I love the habitat. And both events, I really felt going in, I had an opportunity to win. So
You had some good
lake's
practice days.
after practice. So it's been a total mystery to me why they've changed so much. When you fish for them big largemouth down there, I guess if they mess with the dam a little bit, they either don't bite or move or do something. And I've never been able to put it together down there. So it's been 2 very frustrating events for me, needless to say. But I have no control over the time of year or the locations they
Sure.
have it. I just show up and do the best job I can do. And the last couple events haven't been very good.
Well, one of the things that, I guess it's been 5 or 6 years now that the Classic was in Pittsburgh. It was one of the last,
Right.
northern Classics, and one of the last times that they held it in the summer. And one of the difficulties for us up here is kind of getting excited about fishing when there's 2 foot of snow on the ground. I'd like your opinions of the change in format from a summer Classic to really a winter Classic.
I really think it's probably a negative for the whole sport and for the industry, and that's just my personal opinion. But we had so many people that used the Classic as a family vacation.
Right.
Kids were out of school, everybody could go there. Having it in that time frame opened up the whole country. We could have the northern events, we could spread it around. We didn't have to worry about practicing in a snowstorm like we did last week. So there's a lot of advantages and really no disadvantages.
Right.
So I'm kind of like you. When there's snow on the ground, I'd rather be hunting or inside by the fireplace or doing other things. Fishing doesn't really come on my radar screen.
Well,
so.
I share your feelings about that. I'm a big hunter as well. trail, but we'll stick to the fishing for now. We'll talk hunting a little bit later. Wanted to ask you, just I'm sure you've had the opportunity to fish with a lot of amateur anglers. For years and years, you've shared boats with amateur anglers, and I'm sure you've probably seen amateurs make a lot of mistakes. Could you just maybe share like what you think are some of the top mistakes that like an amateur angler would make?
Well, we could be here an hour or two right now. You certainly
do. Top,
you do see quite a few mistakes, but some of the basic stuff, just not being good with their equipment, and it'd be very frustrating to me. Say, for an example, if I was catching them out from underneath willow trees or skipping a bait up underneath boat docks and getting a lot of bites, and the guy in the back of the boat did not have the ability to get it into the strike zone.
Right.
It's just so frustrating because he wasn't going to catch any fish out there in that open water. And then you'll have the guy that is embarrassed about setting the hook and nothing being there, and you'll see his rod tip jumping up and down, and he's too busy watching you or something and never realizing he's getting a bite. Or you really see all kinds of things. A common mistake is they don't have confidence in any of the lures they're using. So at the end of the day, they got about 75 lures laying in the bottom of the boat that they tried, and obviously they didn't catch much because they spent half the day tying on baits. So
right.
they need to develop that confidence in their lures. So.
Well, certainly one of the stories I hate to share was the head guy of Delaware Valley Outdoors, a guy by the name of Bob Murray, who's unfortunately able to be with us today. The first time I ever got to fish with him, that intimidation level was really with me because Bob was kind of professional, and I think I actually fell out of the boat that day. So
that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah,
to fall out of the boat,
to share that. A couple of other things. There's a lot of new technology out there, and I think one of the things I hear a lot of the pros talking about is this new side imaging technology. Both Humminbird and Lowrance are putting it out there. Obviously, price can be an issue for an amateur like myself. Is it really worth putting out that kind of money for an amateur? What's your feelings on that?
Side imaging is amazing. I'm not a big deep water angler. I prefer to fish shallow. Sure. But side imaging, and I use the Humminbirds. It's really made that deep water fishing easier for me, I guess, is the best way to put it. As a not a novice deep water angler, but an angler that doesn't have a lot of patience to find fish deep, it gives me the ability to understand the structure and really decipher what's down there so much faster that I find myself fishing offshore a lot more just because of side imaging.
Just to give you a lot more confidence as far as what you're doing.
It gives me a lot more confidence to the point now I've got a unit on the front of the boat and on the console, and it's without a doubt here to stay. Where it can go from there. We get the down imaging view now too, so there's a lot of stuff we're learning so much faster than we did before. We're really able, it's like an underwater camera, able to interpret what's down there. So an angler's got to ask himself, do you want to spend the money to upgrade to that?
Right.
If you don't hardly ever fish deep, if you don't go fishing very often, it's probably not a good investment. Right. But boy, if you fish a lot, you're going to become a better angler. You're going to get your money's worth.
Cool. I appreciate that. Last question. We're in Pennsylvania. Have you ever fished anywhere in Pennsylvania? You ever wet a line anywhere that you can remember?
No, not that I remember.
Lake Erie?
But, I've been at this a lot. Yeah, we fished Lake Erie.
Sure.
But the Pennsylvania border was our off limits, so we couldn't go into Pennsylvania. But no, I'm sure I have over the years. But right off the top of my head, I don't remember an event that we've ever had in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know that there's ever been a pro event. I know some of the guys, if you're into smallmouth fishing, the Susquehanna River is getting to be well known for smallmouth fishing. So just to throw it out there, and of course the Classic in Pittsburgh. But just was curious, if you've ever been or seen anything. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And
don't mean to pick
all the Classics I didn't qualify for. That ended up being a pretty good one not to qualify for. Them guys had a challenging time.
I guess it's just a point of view, because when I looked at that Classic, and of course, not being real familiar with that water, but knowing that maybe 15 pounds was going to win that tournament, and that probably the difference between first place and 10th place might be a pound. I guess I really thought that was going to be a great test.
It did make it for an exciting event, and really left a lot of guys into the event right up till the end.
Yeah, so exciting. Kev VD gets his second Classic then. Yeah. So, Denny, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. It was great to have you. For Delaware Valley Outdoors at the 2010 Sports Show of the Oaks, I'm John Hawthorne.